Okay, so thanks to everybody for joining today. And to jump off, the first thing we wanted to do is talk about a mod reward program. We're thinking about basically like stepping up the mod features for people to be able to like help curate content in hubs, and then creating like a reward structure behind that. So that way it actually makes sense for people to spend time like doing some of this extra effort stuff. And just as context, during our last sync, we were talking about like moderators in general on ResearchHub, and Brian like strongly suggested that like moderators are pretty much like our earliest adopters, and like should share in any future success that ResearchHub has. And like I think as context, like structuring these rewards, part of that is to almost have like the moderator team be able to scale as like a secondary layer of Research Hub's team, where it's like not quite like actively employees of Research Hub, but moderators are essentially getting a salary in Research Coin in order to like fulfill some like basic like responsibilities for caretaking a hub. So we've thought about this a little bit and like how to scale this program. And so Kobe has like a V1 proposal of sort of what we're thinking the responsibilities would be, and then how the rewards to compensate for that would be structured. So what we'd like to do is kind of bounce these ideas off of you all to see like is this even something you think would be motivational? And then on top of that, is it something that can like scale to eventually? I think we'd like to have like 5 to 10 moderators of every hub, almost like an editorial board type thing, where there's sort of like I guess like community representatives who like try and like govern each hub in accordance with whatever the culture of their specific subfield is. So that's kind of like the long-term vision. And Kobe has a little bit of a presentation where we would love to hear some of your feedback. So Kobe, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, cool. So yeah, basically, we're thinking of some kind of an incentive program to achieve what I see as like two primary goals. So there is one goal of there's many goals, but the main two is like growing the community. So basically increasing the active daily contributors for each hub. I consider each hub to be a community that each moderator would like be responsible for. And we want to grow each one of these communities. And then number two is curate quality. So more quality posts, quality papers, discussions. So these are two overarching goals that led to kind of like a little bit of this brainstorm. Okay.
With one other piece of context too is that one thing we've noticed on ResearchHub is whenever we have some event where we get a lot of new users or a lot of new attention, there's kind of like this overwhelming wave of spam that comes with that new wave of attention. And the ML tool that we use to try and cope with that is not sophisticated enough to do a good job. And so part of the solution, we think we just need people in order to like help like maintain like a high quality environment, even when there are like waves of like low quality content coming in due to like recent attention. So that's kind of like the originating like issue where we're like, oh, we really need to like build out and develop some of the moderator tools.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and until like we build out this technology to be quite sophisticated, we really need the help of you guys, of moderators, to help us out. So we're thinking that each hub is going to basically, obviously have like a main moderator responsible for each hub, and on the hub page, we would note somewhere on the hub page that so-and-so is responsible for moderating this hub. So for example, on the psychology hub, you would visit the hub's homepage and you'll see like Anton Lebed is moderating the sub, something like this. And now, as far as like the incentive program is concerned, each mod would earn a base RSC salary plus some performance-based bonus. So let's quickly run through what we think the base RSC salary looks like. So basically, it's going to be like a salary paid for each mod for the basic responsibilities. So I know there's like a bunch of responsibilities Joyce and Pat and everyone talked to you about. So we're not going to cover those in detail here, but we're brainstorming here that these responsibilities will include something like attending weekly community calls, maintaining a clean hub homepage. So something like, making sure within reasonable effort and time that you can invest that there's no spam papers showing up in the homepage, no spam posts. Papers that show up in the homepage have clear abstracts, right? So no I don't know, like 2-word abstracts or like some weird characters and things like that. And we're also thinking that as a moderator, you'll be responsible for, submitting X number of papers per week and maybe creating Y comments per week as well. So it's kind of like what you're doing now, but putting it more into on paper. So I'll pause here. Any ideas or thoughts?
I have a question. So basically, you are merging the power user program with the moderator program, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. And like in theory, a lot of these things will kind of like hopefully scale the power user program, where we can kind of experiment with like, oh, new rewards cause new behaviors, which help like ResearchHub or even like specific hubs grow in different ways. So yeah, pretty much.
Another question, what about papers that have tags in multiple hubs? So for example, if it's both psychology and longevity, who gets to clean up the paper, the psychology mode or the longevity mode?
So this is something we've thought about, but we haven't like come up with a good solution yet. I even think I've seen like some AI tools that can read a paper and classify it based on, it'll be like 78% biochemistry, but also like 18% like pharmacology or something like that. So there's potential to just have some type of like, objective like classifier. Do you have any good suggestions? Because I think this is kind of a difficult thing.
I mean, responsibility-wise, it's tough, but it also we need to figure out how would the rewards be distributed, right? So I see you have you will propose the partial upvote bonus will get to the mod. So let's say it's in 2 sections. Will it be split equally, or will it just be double the reward?
Yeah, very good thoughts. Sorry, go ahead.
This is kind of like a departure from how our hubs currently work, but we could also have the same paper in 2 hubs, and then the mods would earn rewards for the discussion. Like I know in Reddit sometimes it'll be like, hey, you see this post, but this was also posted in subreddit X, whatever. And so we could kind of have 2 entities where I guess they're competing, not ideal, but could be a short-term solution.
Yeah. Well, that's how you say it's a departure, but isn't it exactly how it is now? It can be, right, a part of 2 hubs.
Oh, I'm saying like each paper would be a separate entity in each hub. So like, they'd be like separate entities where like if you upvoted one, it wouldn't count towards the other.
Well, that's not ideal in my
I don't think it's ideal, because especially on Reddit, the communities are actually very different. And so like in our case, it is a little bit trickier. That is a good point. I haven't thought about that.
And you're spreading the activity fee even more in that case.
Right.
In a perfect world, having it be like even further ladderied out.
Maybe, but yeah, Joyce, maybe what we can do here is like we push in the UI, like the major hub, you can have multiple tags on it, but then like someone needs to select like this is under psychology versus like what's the other field? Longevity.
Totally.
And like
Ooh.
like someone just needs to make that distinction. It'll show up in both places. It can show up in both places, but then like the rewards will go to the number one hub that's listed.
What if you change UI a little bit? So when you select the hubs, it will be two questions. First will be like, what is the primary hub you think, and all additional ones.
Right. We can split it to primary hub, additional hubs. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually a really good idea. The only challenge would be like, what do we do with pre-existing content? But I think we can figure that out.
Yeah, and in our paradigm, well, I've been thinking like for a little bit of time, like the time, like how do you guys feel about a time-based filter here? On like, because if we're just going on a time-based filter, like when something was uploaded, it kind of sorts itself out to an extent, Kobe, where like, yeah, we have to figure it out later, but like in the feed, you don't see those papers, So then it becomes a little bit harder to find. So that's, yeah.
What do you mean, Pat, by time-based? So you're thinking like, show me.
I don't know.
Data?
Let's say there's a bunch of conversation on an old paper that was posted.
Right.
That should go to the top, right? Like even though it was posted like, I don't know, a year ago, now it's hot. It should float at the top, I think. Because people are talking about it now. So like, yeah, like right now our thing is very heavily time weighted. So even if that happens, like someone starts talking about, a bunch of people start talking about one paper from like a year ago, it won't show up in the feed because it's so long ago.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe it will work. I think it. Yeah, I guess it depends on the second part, which is the mod performance-based bonus.
Sorry, could I just also leave the feedback for moderation? Also, like you can detect when the first moderator starts editing a certain paper, and so basically you just see what part of the community is that specific individual moderating, and yeah, you reward them, and you would actually incentivize moderators to kind of rush as soon as possible and do edits as well, so they get rewarded. So that seems kind of.
I like that. I was thinking like moderators should be able to name papers, be like, oh, plant a flag in it. This is psychology. But I think you're right, Dragon. Like the first one to do cool stuff. Or than the moderators who have done the most stuff. So you could be competing back and forth.
That creates this shift makes it more apparent that the hub system itself can be a little bit complicated and subjective, right? Because some hubs don't even exist right now. There is no developmental hub right now, right? So there is no specific tag for this kind of research, but someone might ask to introduce it, right? So what will happen if there was a set of hubs on a paper, let's say psychology, neuroscience, psychiatry, but someone comes in and adds another hub, or maybe even the authors themselves show up and say, hey, this is not psychology, this is more biochemistry or something. Would it retrospectively redirect the RSC rewards
to the other hub? It depends. I think like you got to think about it a little bit more. I don't think so, but not sure.
So I have one more solution. Sorry, Pat. Let me do this idea.
Go ahead, Joyce. Yeah, go ahead, Joyce. Yeah.
What if we capped the number of hubs at 3 for any given paper, and then we give out 3 RSC for every upvote, and it's going to each hub, basically. Like everybody gets credit, maximum of 3 for every paper, and you can do less if you don't think 3 fit.
What if you only have one hub? Does it funnel all 3 RSC?
Yeah, just one. If it's just one hub, one. Yeah. So like an incentive to tag more hubs, but
I now have an incentive to stretch things a little bit and add the tag psychology into all papers.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You probably could, honestly. But is that even the worst thing though? Because then we just get another set of eyes who wants to keep it high quality. So like there would just be a lot of competition to be a mod in a hub that gets tagged in lots of things.
Do you see it as a mod in this section should only upload papers from that hub or from any hub?
So we're thinking to give the mod like an incentive to create high quality content in their hub.
Just in the hub, okay.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about the next piece too.
Yeah.
But before Pat, I interrupted you. Pat Wu, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I got a quick. Yeah, maybe we need to rethink the hubs thing a little, like our hub structure a little bit, where each paper can only go under one hub, and then we have tags where like then we can tag different stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, like if we look at archive, I think every paper is under like one category, and so like I think the majority of preprint servers are like that currently.
They're all like that, like bioarchive,
Right.
archive. Even these OSF preprints, like each server is divided into a different field. So
right,
I agree. I think one hub might be the solution.
yeah. We
Is
just do
that a
one
good
hub.
thing? Like having one like main hub section, whatever, is that a good thing?
It's going to be gigantic. Imagine the biology hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be massive. But then we just have more mods in there, right?
And we can
I
also
don't
like
know.
maybe the biology hub wants to split off into the developmental biology hub, and there's like people who want to
Right, and then it splits. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're creating this entire problem with hierarchies of hubs. It seems that something having a more flat structure, like Stack Exchange tags, like there is no like main tag that is actually collecting all the other smaller tags. Like they're all equal level, and you just then have experts for a particular tag, and like that's it. So you like literally avoid the entire problem of nesting and like overburdening certain hubs tags with like a lot of activity instead of just introducing totally flat hierarchy.
Yeah, these are good, very good thoughts that everyone here has. Yeah, we'll definitely think through it more, and we'll probably talk about it more next week as well. So
just
yeah,
one last thing before we move on. Maybe you should. I don't know if you agree, but maybe you can add some responsibilities for the mods related to the pre-moderation. So some content, I think, in ResearchHub shouldn't be easy to change for just whatever users, namely the abstract, the title, maybe the hubs on the paper. So maybe if a user tries to change anything, then it will go into the moderator's inbox or something first before it's approved. Then it can appear.
Or at least let the moderator know. I think right now, Pat, do we have some kind of a reputation minimum associated with like editing an abstract?
I don't believe so.
Okay, yeah, no, I think it's a good point. So either like we'll notify the mod or like add it to the queue or something like that.
Yeah, let the authors and the submitter, the initial submitter, freely change stuff around the paper, but everyone else should have it approved.
Yeah, I think the Wikipedia model is like anyone can edit, but the mods get notified immediately. Yeah, I signed up for an account one time. I just edited something, immediately took place, but someone reverted it within like 5 minutes.
Totally.
Yeah, it's gone immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good call out. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm going to move to the next section. So the mod performance-based bonus. So basically, like it's got a few elements. So the first element is just basically like we refer to it as lottery in the past. So basically just distribution of upvotes. So what we do is we add up the total number of upvotes per week on papers, posts, hypotheses, whatever assets we have. So let's say it's like 100. Then we associate like RSC value per vote. It doesn't have to be one, it can be anything. But so now you have like 100 RSC that can be distributed. And we're going to distribute this RSC delta. So, right, because every week it's going to be like a new delta, new change. And 15% we're thinking will go towards the moderator of the hub. 55% will go towards the author. And then the remaining 30% will be distributed to people who made comments by weight. So basically a comment who has more upvotes will receive more RSC within this like 30% allocation. So yeah, let me pause here, get your thoughts.
Yeah, and you say that the calculating period will be like around 1 week. So after a week, you will take a look at how many upvotes there are, which one is the most upvoted comment, and then you will redistribute, or is it going online?
Yeah, so it's per week, so it resets every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, if like it was 10 votes on one paper and only the delta is only one upvote for this week, it's only one thing to be redistributed, kind of. Yeah. Now the question is, me and Jules were chatting earlier. Do you guys think it's a good idea, given our goals here that we defined above? Do you think it's a good idea to reward the submitter of a paper in any way?
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely. Because if authors are still not on the network, right, like you definitely want to reward people that are bringing the content.
Okay. Yeah, maybe there is going to be some allocation we do to the submitter. We're thinking that even though the author may not be in the network, what's going to happen is there's going to be like a pot created on the side for the author when they do join the network. So that 55% would not like basically go to the moderator or the comments. It would just be saved for the author on the side.
What's my incentive as a community member to post any other paper besides like the ones that I've authored?
So the incentive, Kobe and I were talking about this, is to be the first one to add a comment. So in theory, it's like pretty easy to add a paper. Like, I find like if I really wanted to, I could add like a couple hundred a day. It's a lot harder to add a comment. So if you post a paper, like being the first one to say, hey, here's why I posted this paper, is like your best move to be able to get a piece of that 30%, rather than just saying like, hey, here's 5% just for submitting, which we could do. Kobe and I, the pros here are more weekly active contributors, just more users, because it's really easy to post like a paper. And then the cons would be having no reward for the submitter means you have to add a comment in order to get a piece, and requiring people to add a comment in order to get rewards could be better for our growth, just because there's more content out there and it looks like a more active community. And then we could always change this in the future once we have more of an active community. That's a
what if you pay? I understand that it can be a little bit awkward to add the initial submitter as like a permanent funnel of RSC, right, to this proportion of people who get RSC. What if you do like a flat amount, like the first 50 upvotes the paper gets, it just goes to the submitter. Everything after that gets divided equally.
I kind of like that. That's actually a great, like there's a time limit to the submitters' rewards, because you're right. Like even if it was 1%, if I thought ResearchHub was going to take off in a decade, I would immediately just go to PubMed and start submitting everything just to get a 1% finder's fee on like a bunch of different people. But also that might be a good thing. Like maybe those people should get rewarded for being the first person to do that. So I don't know. Like I guess there could be a bot that's just uploading a bajillion papers a day. But yeah, I'm not sure what the best move is here.
Yeah, exactly. Some other communities are actually limiting how much you can post. So like you can actually limit the number of papers that you upload, I know, weekly or I know per day. So you can actually stop the bots, but still have the actual people earning.
And maybe it costs you RSC after the first 5 papers of the week or something. Like you need to pay RSC
Yep.
the next one.
Yes.
Yeah, these are all good ideas. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. I know we're running out of time here. Yeah, one thing we're thinking about as far as like an incentive is what we want to do is really for each hub, we want to have as many authors that have claimed their profile. So as you know, we have this author claiming feature that went live a while back, and we want authors to claim their profile. So we're thinking of incentivizing mods by referring authors to ResearchHub and claim their profile. How they're going to do it, there's many different ways, mostly manual, but it's up to the moderator of the hub. So it's only an idea. Wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, that cold calling, I think, needs to be a separate reward part. That's a tough thing to do. Needs to be rewarded properly.
Yeah, I think it's so this is a bonus thing, and I like each one is its own thing. So like you can choose to do this, and if you do it, then great, you get a bonus. It's its own thing. But yeah, that's at least what we're thinking of right now.
What I'm thinking is maybe in addition, so if the author claimed their profile, you don't know if they found ResearchHub by themselves or the mod invited them. So maybe you could introduce a special referral program with mods being able to generate a link that they can send academics. They will get a hefty bonus based on that, because that's really hard, but really valuable.
Yeah, we're thinking of, we have a referral program at the moment. We'll probably utilize it to do what you just talked about, Anton. But yeah, it's very important to keep the distinction. So that is one idea. Now we want to get more new users to the hub. And the more people that are referred to each hub, the more people that are active, the better it is for the hub. But then again, I think this is the key thing we're looking for. So this is more important for us at this stage. So you can kind of like put this on the side. So any other thoughts? I know we're at time, and there's like a couple more things Joyce wanted to talk about. So
just a quick comment. Some of these things that depend on hubs size are kind of tricky to get right, because some hubs just could have smaller community. So it could be kind of ungrateful rewarding people that are just part of a bigger community and they have a lot more activity. So yeah, just being careful about it.
Yeah, we thought about this a little bit, and my take on it, and I know it's not going to be a popular take amongst you, is it can be a responsibility that the moderator can take on to grow the hub. I know that obviously like psychology is at the end of the day is going to have more people. Like if we referred all the scientists in the world to all the different hubs, but since we're small enough, we're thinking that it's okay to treat things evenly, at least kind of that's the idea for the moment. Because like if we don't, then things can get like quite complex, and we're trying to keep it lightweight. So Dragon, if you have any thoughts on how we can proportionally keep it fair, please let me know.
I do not at the time.
Sorry, go Dragon.
Sorry, I just don't have an idea at the time.
Yeah, cool. If you guys feel free to chat on Slack too.
Okay. So one potential other bonus activity that mod can do is maybe the outreach, kind of. So like what Patrick is doing with Reddit, right? So if a moderator wants to create a topic on Reddit about one of the uploaded papers, that should be also rewarded, I think.
Totally, 100%. Kobe and I chatted about this a little bit, and sometimes projects will do like bounties for this. So they'll just open it up to the whole community and say like, hey, if anybody posts a ResearchHub paper on Reddit, like we'll, send us your wallet, we'll send you 50 RSC or whatever. And so there's, I think that's something where eventually, I think we'd have to be careful because we don't want to spam anything and be annoying. But I think there's ways that we could do that where we could get ourselves out there pretty well.
That's why I didn't want to be like a bounty for everyone, but put just moderators who will do it tastefully, and
It's a great point. I mean, that is like if they're incentivized long term, like the health of the community is more important than that short RSC payment. That's definitely something we should consider.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So just to quickly move on to the other stuff. So Kobe and I had a chat with Open Science Framework. Essentially what they want to do is really like low tech integration with us first to try and test the concept of, do open scientists want token rewards for behaviors? And so essentially what's going to happen is they have these claim verifications on Open Science Framework preprint servers, where you can, as the author, when you submit a preprint, say, yes, I pre-registered this study. Yes, I have data available for others to check out. And then I forget what the third one is. But essentially what they want to do is recruit people from their community to go on to ResearchHub and verify these pre-registration and data availability claims. So basically what will happen is they already have people who are interested in doing this. They'll like communicate on their end, send them to ResearchHub, and on ResearchHub, they'll read the preprint and then say, yes, like there is a pre-registration, like the link to the pre-registration is a pre-registration that describes the study that I just read. And then either leave a comment or something else that says, yes, verified, this pre-registration link is good. And when that happens, the verifier earns RSC and the author earns RSC. And in theory, if the verifier says, no, this link is broken, or like, no, I can't verify this, the information goes back to the author, and the author is able to submit a new version of their preprint to OSF that has the error corrected. And then when that happens, there's more RSC. So the idea is like incentivize independent verification, and then have the independent verification be feedback back to the author in order to make changes to improve their manuscript on OSF. So that's sort of the high level plan. The questions I have for everybody here is like, if that sounds cool to you. And then 2 is the features that we could potentially build on our side. So in theory, we could just encourage people to leave comments, but Kobe's been thinking a little bit about how we could maybe like have a specific section of the paper page be like, hey, do you want to independently verify author claims and earn RSC? Like click this box, we'll give you more instructions, and like maybe make it like super straightforward on what we want you to do. So yeah, just do you think it's a cool idea? And then 2, should we build some custom stuff to help make it easier on our end?
It sounds interesting. Definitely rewarding people for some additional work is kind of what I was at least personally hoping for, that ResearchHub will be going for. So I think this is a great first step. When it comes to building some additional custom stuff, like if it's custom and like lowers the barrier for entry, it makes UX nicer and smoother, definitely do it. But how high of an investment should that be? Probably as low as possible. If this is kind of the low tech integration, like you said, then if commenting system works well enough, then that may be even sufficient. But if something, with a small amount of effort could lead to much better results and better usability, then definitely do it. Yes.
Yeah, I guess one question I have for people here, if you guys don't mind couple more minutes is I'm thinking about like who is going to be, what type of user should verify? Like, can anyone verify, or can only specific people verify? And how frequently how many times can like a preprint be verified? Can it be verified like 100 times? I don't know. Is one sufficient? Not sure. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Intuitively, I'm thinking of like locking it down to like a certain number of verification, but you guys let me know what you think.
Yeah, like if OSF already has a group of users willing to do that, it sounds to me like they already somehow verified those users, and like those are the community members that we trust, and like we know that we can trust. So I would say that it's not up to ResearchHub to figure out who can actually verify the pre-registrations and the data. It's more on the side of OSF, but I might be wrong on that one. And like how many times you verify or not. I also was missing the, like, if there is something missing, it seems that you aren't rewarding the verifier for investing the effort into at least confirming that there isn't anything. It seems like there is definitely less work if the data is missing, because you're just seeing that something is missing, like it's missing, but it's still like some time spent on their side. So also just showing some sort of gratitude for that minuscule amount of work, but still present, would be cool.
So just to clarify, they have 3 badges, right? The paper can be pre-registered, can have open materials, and can have open data. Are you guys going to verify all 3?
So during our call yesterday, the focus was on pre-registrations and data, but I think it would be, quickly we would move into all of them, and then even more into like text peer review.
It can be tough. Not everyone should be able to do it, right? So especially if you're like, if your goal is to be like very scrupulous about deviations from the pre-registration to the actual analysis, the person needs to understand both texts in a pretty high level. So I wouldn't do it for like physics paper, for example. Although I am like a scientist and I have done open science stuff, it needs to be in your field, in my opinion.
The other piece about this too is that we'll be able to iterate and change too. So like if we start out with everybody and it's like clear that's not working, then we can restrict it. But like this is thinking of like the first version, like is it better to start it off restricted? And even thinking of like claimed like how do we verify that the verifiers are field? Like the mechanism now would probably be have they claimed a paper. So we could restrict it to only authors who have claimed papers. But we probably need to talk to OSF to see if the people they're sending over are going to be like authors of papers that could be claimed. It's tough to think about.
I think you should start restricted, because you say we can try be open during the first stages, but there is really no way for you to tell that someone is not a diligent validator, right? They'll just leave a comment, yes, this is good.
What, Kobe, could we do like a referral link from OSF? Like if you come from OSF, you're automatically eligible to be a verifier, but if you just sign up on ResearchHub and find it there, then you can't be.
Maybe I need to look into the referral module. I'm thinking maybe it will work, but maybe it's not going to be the best thing, because that implies only new users, that have joined. What about the existing users? And I'm not sure. I got to think about that. But I think it is good to restrict it as well, because now I'm thinking like about like reputations of sites. So a reputation is like you have it until you don't. So it's like once someone says like, oh, ResearchHub is crap, then it's hard to build the trust again. So I think what Anton is saying is probably true. Good point, Anton.
What if you do some sort of, maybe not even you, but maybe OSF, whenever you meet next time, if you ask them if they can do some sort of test or even the onboarding procedure that briefly describes what are these free badges, how to properly look for them, the whole thing, and then gives you like a short test to assess whether you understood this.
Yeah, totally. And we're thinking of like designing something like a user experience thingy and putting it into like a clickable prototype. So we're not going to actually like implement anything, but creating some like a mock, putting it in front of people, including yourself, getting your thoughts, and iterating based on that before we implement anything. So what you just said, Anton, about like whether putting some like statements and seeing if it makes sense, yeah, like we're going to see how people react to it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for the feedback.
So the last thing that I want to bring up today is we're about to release the new hypothesis feature, and so yeah, in order before we like start to spread the word about it big time, we wanted to get like some initial content, like even Anton, the conversation that we were having today on the message board. Like I was thinking, like I literally just listed out a hypothesis with some sources, in that one comment. So we'll do like a extra, like maybe like 1,000 RSC bonus or something. Like if anybody posts a hypothesis, we'll just ship you some more RSC to help get that initial content going. So that way, when we spread it, like there's a couple posts up and they're like, pretty decent quality. So yeah, if anybody wants to post a hypothesis or add sources, we'll end up, I don't have like an official number of RSC, but it'll be a lot just to like help get that feature going.
Okay.
Will you announcing the moment in the Slack, or should we kind of look for it?
Well, what would be motivational to you? Like maybe like I was in our power user program, it was like 100 RSC a post, and I think this is a lot harder. So maybe like 1,000 for a hypothesis, and then another like 50 for every source under it or something.
No, I was just interested in like when you release the feature, the like how it's announced, not anything about the reward.
Oh, totally sorry, my fault. So what we'll do is send an email to the email list. Pat also built a really cool feature for this specifically, where now there will be like a notification, basically like a new feature, kind of like to draw your attention to the hypothesis.
Yeah, in the app itself, there'll be like a new. It'll say new, and then you'll visually see, oh, what is this thing? And then we'll have some explainer, some description there. So yeah.
We can post in the community chat and tweet about it too.
Cool. On that note, I would love to receive more emails, ResearchHub. I receive like literally none right now. I don't know how to increase it, but if you are concerned about sending too much emails, that's constant doesn't apply to me.
So you think we should send more emails, Nami?
To me.
Just to you? Okay. I'll start writing some love letters or something. Cool. Yeah, we don't send out a ton of like marketing emails, but if you guys think we should up that, then I can start composing more of those. I always just find them kind of obnoxious, but that's just my opinion.
You could. You send them.
Yeah, I think we could.
Just occasionally. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can start doing that like monthly or something.
We could do some content kind of thing, like I don't know, curated content of the month or something content based would probably be useful. People.
We had that.
Fermat's library, but just the ResearchHub, right?
Totally. Cool. So yeah, I'll think about that a little bit more and coordinate with you, Pat, about what we can put in like a newsletter type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's all I had. Do you guys have anything for us this week?
Just as a general comment, this move towards really incentivizing some productive and different work from just posting content and comments is exciting, at least to me. So yeah, we're really looking forward to how that turns out, and congrats on collaboration with OSF. It's definitely a start.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree too. Where like the long-term vision of like paying for peer review is super, like I think that's where the future is going. And even just like in a couple of calls with the OSF team, like they've done this a million times, and they know like the best way to like slowly dip your toes into water, and like how to like even phrase crypto rewards to scientists where like it makes sense. So yeah, and it's thanks to Anton and Nami for inviting me to the SIPS conference. That's where it came from. So yeah, you are ridiculous. So thank you so much. And yeah, we're crazy lucky. They seem super, super diligent, talented.
Nice.
A pleasure. Well, I think I did nothing but sure. Great.
Take the credit, man.
Yeah, exactly. Already got it. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. So thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Bye.
See you.